welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. The federal government has warned states and local governments to steer clear of the collection of royalties and taxes from licensed miners operating in their domains. Minister of Solid Minerals Development Dele Alake, who gave the warning in Kaduna, who also stated that miners and operators owe the federal government more than 2 trillion naira, calling on them to pay the debt. Dele said operators must pay on a monthly basis royalties and taxes to the federal government, adding that the administration of President Bola Tinubu was determined to halt the activities of illegal miners across the country. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Aliko Dangote, President and Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Group, on the award of the National Order of the Lion by President Macky Sall of Senegal. The president, in a statement by his spokesman, Ajirin Galale, applauded the industrialist for his enterprise and ingenuity, creating jobs and opportunity for many in Nigeria and across West Africa, as well as contributing to their economics. President Tinubu also wished him the very best in his endeavor. Overnight, Inspector General of Police Olukayode Egbetokun has ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, airspaces, and other forms of transportation from 12 midnight to 6 p.m. in the 26 states where the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC will be holding by-elections on tomorrow. This was as he warned troublemakers to stay away from exercises. The IG said the restriction order would not affect persons on essential duties such as INEC officials, electoral observers, accredited journalists, and observers, both foreign and domestic. In the meantime, all is set for tomorrow's by-elections into the Senate, State House of Representatives, and House of Assembly seats across 26 states. Already sensitive materials have been distributed to the affected polling districts and constituencies by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. However, the commission said the People's Democratic Party, PDP, would not participate in the election in Plateau North Senatorial District and Jos North Bassa Federal Constituency based on judgments of the Court of Appeal. The court had nullified the victory of PDP House of Assembly members in the state following the party's failure to conduct its congresses according to laid-down rules. And now on, the Minister of Power, Bayo Adelabo, has listed unpaid debts and low gas supply as some of the reasons for the inability of power plants to operate to capacity. Adelabo stated this when he visited the Olong-Shogbo power plant in Papalato, Ogun State, and the Omotosho power plant in Ondo State. The two government power plants being managed by the Niger Delta Power Holding Company was inspected by the minister, who said the tour was part of his nationwide visit to power installations of the federal government to inspect and monitor the physical state and the operational state of these power plants. Still on the news, Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal said the federal government will procure more arms for effective operations of the National Park Service. The minister disclosed this when he paid an official visit to the headquarters of Service and the National Biosafety Management Agency in Abuja. Lawal stated that there is an ongoing collaboration with the relevant agencies to clean the forests of bandits, illegal miners, and coastal areas where oil theft take place. Minister of State of Petroleum Resources Hanneke Lapobiri has confirmed that negotiations are on to finally end the dispute surrounding OML 245 for the block to resume production in the national interest. Lapobiri disclosed this in Abuja as he revealed that parties in the deal are currently negotiating to end the over 28 years crisis and litigation surrounding the Prolific oil block in the next 1 month. Kikelomo Kere has details.
In the light of recent discussion and misconceptions surrounding the resolution of issues surrounding OML 245, the Minister of State for Petroleum has offered clarity and dispel any misinformation that might have risen. It says the OML 245 is a significant oil block within the nation's territory, which has been subject to various litigation and discussions across different jurisdictions. It says the core issue resolved around the agreement between the federal government, Shell, and ENI, wherein the federal government facilitated the transfer of rights from Malabo to Shell ENI in exchange for consideration. This process was conducted transparently in accordance with established legal frameworks.
And this block has been like that.
The minister reveals that throughout the legal proceedings, there has been no evidence indicating any criminal liability on the part of the federal government or any involved parties. All legal battles across multiple courts have concluded with outcome affirming the absence of criminal wrongdoing.
And so when they say I mounted pressure, I didn't mount pressure on anybody, but it is important that we resolve the problems. What is the problem among the parties about OML 245? We took ENI and other people, including Malabo and others, to courts in different countries. Like I said earlier, in Canada, in Milan, in the UK, in Switzerland. We lost all because there's no evidence to prove any case of corruption. And this block has been like that for the past 28 years. All of us, I'm sure, graduated before we're 28. So how can you have one block that could actually change the life of Nigerians? A very prolific block that has been tied down for 28 years. What are the issues? Even if we continue with all the cases, the ones you had, he had no evidence. And so he lost all. And all these things happened within the last administration. And if you guys get hold of, the book written by Malami, he himself said we were wrong. The idea of taking these things to different courts was wrong, but there's no evidence. Even the ones here, no evidence. So what we're trying to do is to see how we can discuss, resolve all the issues, so that all matters could be resolved, so that we can get the investment in Nigeria.
On the complexity surrounding the OML 245, the minister says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has demonstrated astute leadership by directing efforts towards resolving the lingering issue. Meetings and discussions have been convened with stakeholders from various countries, including Netherlands, the UK, and Milan, to explore avenues for an amicable resolution. With just a 5% reserve investment ratio in the oil sector, which is the lowest globally in the last 5 years, the minister says there is an urgent need to boost the investment in the sector to avert an imminent economic crisis.
If you go to Brazil, it's 115%. If you go to Mozambique in Africa, it's 92%. If you go to Angola, it's 46%. If you come to Nigeria, 5%. If we do not do whatever we can to attract investments, the crude oil deficit we have here will be a souvenir not seen by you and I, that will translate to nothing in the next few years. And so my responsibility is to ensure that we do whatever we can, resolve whatever problems we have in the industry, so that we can attract sufficient investment to change the narrative. If we resolve the issues around OML 245, it will attract investment between $5 to $10 billion. It will change the story. So anytime somebody wants to invest, when we go for canvas, when we go to canvas for investment, people will say, oh, Nigeria is not attracting investment. This is psychology.
It further stressed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's interest lies on the transformation of the vast natural resources into prosperity for the nation. It therefore urged citizens to remain patriotic and continue to build faith in the renewed Hope administration, as the President has supported the resolution of all issues around OML 245. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has commended Governor Mai Malam Buni of Yobe for establishing 140 primary healthcare centers across the state. The NUJ chairman, Yobe State Council Rajib Mohammed Ismail, gave the commendation while briefing newsmen in Damaturu after a media tour across the state. He said the tour afforded NUJ members the opportunity to see the efforts of state and local government councils towards improving the lives of people in health, education, infrastructure, and job creation. He said 140 primary health care centers established by Buni's administration have brought effective and efficient healthcare services to the people, particularly those at the grassroots. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare Ali Pate has expressed the federal government's commitment to promoting a life-saving initiative intended to improve quality maternal health outcomes. The minister, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja, said, based on the 2020 World Health Organization's recommendations on maternal care for positive pregnancy experience, the federal government has adopted the use of multiple micronutrient supplement, also called MMS, during pregnancy to improve maternal health. The minister said the inclusion of MMS for pregnant women in the national guidelines for the prevention and control of micronutrient deficiencies control in Nigeria is geared towards improving pregnancy outcomes compared to iron folic acid supplementation. Over now to United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF has said it is set to provide the needed technical support and policy framework that will help address poverty and revamp the social protection system in Abia State. The intervention is a collaboration with the European Union and International Labour Organization, ILO. UNICEF expressed concerns over the growing poverty rate in Nigeria, stressing the need for a homegrown solution in addressing the menace. And now on, the Anambra State government has banned the public display of caskets for fabrication and sale in the state. This was contained in a law passed by the State House of Assembly on to control burial and funeral activities in the state. By implication, all mortuary attendants are to report to the Ministry of Health on any corpse that has stayed beyond 1 month from the date it was deposited. It warned that any person who contravenes the provision will be fined 100,000 naira or 6 months imprisonment or both. After a prolonged land dispute which lasted 10 years, Governor Seyi Makinde-led administration has ordered the reopening of 23 schools in 4 local government areas of Oyo State. The reopening of the schools followed an intervention by the Deputy Governor of the state, Bayo Lawal. The affected local government areas are Itiba, Afojo, Oyo East and Oyo West local government area of the state. The Deputy Governor equally stated that Ministry of Education will oversee the schools upon reopening. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has revealed that the EFCC is investigating the former minister and his predecessor, Hadi Sirika, over the controversial Nigeria Air deal. Keyamo said no local airline will be designated as a national airline, stressing that it will establish a proper national carrier. Last August, shortly after he was sworn in as minister, Keyamo faulted the deal by Sirika and suspended the entire arrangement to enable a proper audit of contract. The contrary surrounding the establishment of Nigeria's national carrier, Nigerian Air, had forced veteran aviator Girma Wake to resign as chairman of Ethiopian Airlines. Several people have reportedly been burnt beyond recognition after a tanker suspected to be used by oil bunkerers exploded in the forest of Obiti, Ohija, Egbama local government area of Imo State. The incident happened at Idoroma Pipeline at the Obiti Rubber Estate of Ohiji, Egbama local government of the state. Confirming the incident, Imo State Police Public Relations Officer Henry Okoye said the command had set up an investigation team to move in and unearth the immediate cause of the accident, as well as arrest the persons involved. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times Channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government raises exchange rate from cargo clearance to 1,356 to the dollar. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. And now over to our foreign desk. Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak's 12-year jail sentence for corruption has been halved by the country's pardon board. Najib was jailed in 2022 over the embezzlement of Malaysia's state-owned wealth and One Malaysian Development Berhad. The board also reduced the fine imposed on him to 50 million ringgit from the original 210 million ringgit. Najib must to secure his release in August 2028. If he fails to pay, his sentence will be extended for another year until 2029. He was convicted in 2020 after spending 2 years appealing his conviction before the court. All 27 European leaders have agreed to a $50 billion Euro aid package for Ukraine, European Council President Charles Michel said, adding that the agreement locks in steadfast, long-term, predictable funding for Ukraine. There had been fears that Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban would block the aid package, as he had done already at the European Summit last December. Orban had said he wanted to force a rethink of EU policy towards Ukraine and questioned the idea of committing to fund Ukraine for the next 4 years. And now on Donald Trump's attempt to bring a case in the UK court against a former M16 officer who wrote a salacious dossier linking him to Russia has failed. He has been seeking to use data protection laws to sue Orbit's Business Intelligence Limited. The company run by Christopher Steele compiled a dossier in 2016, which included unproven allegations about Trump. In bringing the lawsuit, the dossier contained allegations that were inaccurate and breached his data protection rights. Let's turn to business desk now. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has stated that the mechanical completion of Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company is scheduled for completion in the first quarter of this year. WRPC, located in Warri, Delta State and established in 1978, is one of Nigeria's 3 refineries under the management of NNPCL. The other two include the Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State and the Kaduna Refinery, the Petrochemical Company in Kaduna State. Rehabilitation work is also ongoing at both facilities. The current scarcity of foreign exchange this afternoon disrupted trading at the Parrots Market, Black Market in Abuja. The popular black market spots in Zone 4 of Wuse District observed that trading activities were very low. The black market operators were pegged the exchange rate at 1,500 per dollar for those seeking to buy dollars. However, they were offering 1,300 per dollar for members of the public who wanted to change their dollars to naira. The Nigerian government has attributed the main cause of poor power supply in the country to the low supply of gas to generating companies, GENCOs. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, disclosed this in a statement posted on his X handle today. The minister said he visited facilities in Orun-Shogbo, Ogun State, and on Motosho, Ondo State, to understand the challenges firsthand, while noting that resolving the gas supply issue is a top priority. To tackle the gas supply, the liquidity challenge, Adelabu said he has decided to form a committee involving all stakeholders. The federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, has raised the exchange rate for cargo clearance from 952 naira to a dollar to 1,356 naira per dollar. This is coming weeks after the rate was increased from 783 naira per dollar to 952 naira per dollar. In November, the exchange rate for cargo clearance was raised from 757 naira per dollar to 783 naira per dollar, representing a 3.4% increase, and was later raised from 783 naira per dollar to 952 naira per dollar in December. Still on the news, the Gombe State government plans to raise 30 billion naira green bond in advancing its economy. The executive governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Yahya, urged investors to invest in the state's agriculture and infrastructure development. Yahya stated this at the closing gong ceremony by Gombe State, which is exploring how the state can harness the capital market through green bonds to stimulate sustainable development, held in Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, Lagos. He added that the capital market is the ideal place for any investor, government, public or private sector to pool funds for development. The Senate, through its Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, summoned the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, to appear before it on Tuesday next week on states of economy and free flow of naira at the forex market. The committee, chaired by Senator Adetokunbo Abiri, APC Lagos East, hurriedly met on the basics when naira plummeted to 1,520 naira to a dollar and resolved to summon the CBN governor on way out. Kikelamo Okere tells us more.
Speaking with journalists after the hurried meeting held behind closed doors, Senator Abiru says the state of the economy, especially the inflation index, is of great concern to the lawmakers. Senator Abiru added that they have deliberated among themselves and critical issues has been addressed, and they believe that the next line of action is to summon the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria on Tuesday at 3 o'clock to brief the Senate properly on the state of the economy. He added that they are resolved and will communicate to the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, after which they will have further communication with the member of the press.
Lining the major issue of the economy is the way the inflation index has been, and of course it's of major concern to us. Now we have deliberated amongst ourselves, the critical issues were addressed, and we believe that the next line of action is to bring in someone, the Governor of Central Bank, on Tuesday at 3 o'clock to come and brief us properly on the state of the economy. That we have resolved and we will communicate to the Governor of the Central Bank, after which we now have a further conversation with members of the press.
Kikelamo Okere, Global Television News.
And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.